Good to see everybody. Carolina Keith. I'm just going to go with Carolina Keith rather than all the other stuff because I don't think anybody cares. I'll just say this, just Keith. Glad to see everybody. I hope everybody had a good weekend. Stressful weekend for me, but not too bad. Been a little tired lately, is what it is. Market's kind of been brutal, but hey, man, onward and upward. We keep going. We don't get to quit. We don't get to fuss and fight about it. We just pick our chins up and keep on digging. You know what I mean? So without further ado, let's jump into it. Welcome to Charts After Dark. If you haven't done so, please go hit like. It costs absolutely nothing. It's totally free to hit like, and plus it helps the algorithm push out farther so everybody else gets to see the good message of what we do here. All right? If you haven't done so, also subscribe. I mean, why not? We got stuck on 10,000, about 11,000 or whatever we're at right now on YouTube, and it just hasn't ever moved. And it's cool. I don't mind. Is what it is. I just wish we had a bigger audience. But we keep it real here. No hopium. It's always straight facts, straight data, no in between. I hate it that people can't handle that. And you know what? Sometimes we're wrong. Sometimes we're wrong. But it's a rare thing when we're wrong and not right. And unfortunately, the hopium channels are rarely right and mostly wrong, sadly. They'll tell you that time in the market is better than timing the market. And that may be true for about a handful of assets, but for the most part, that's not the truth. I wish it was that way. And another thing that we often forget when that kind of stuff gets brought up is, you have to have enough money to keep putting money in the market. That's the part that's left out about that analogy. People say, oh, it's better to be in the market than time the market. If you have the money to keep putting in, yeah, but most people don't. So that nullifies most people's ability. So why even say it? You know what I mean? So anyway, let's get off into it. What's up, Charts Can't Lie? Good to see you, brother. Bottom is almost in. Let's see the next cycle begin. We're going to find out, aren't we? Murky Trade says, Keith, I still say you were my mentor to people, and I've taught people what you've taught me. Most have done well. Anyways, hope you're good. Well, I'm glad, brother. I hope I actually helped somebody along the way. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I tried, and I came from the right place. You know what I mean? I tried to keep it real and tried to be honest and try not to sugarcoat it and be fake. It's always been that way from the beginning. Told y'all I would be, and that's just all there is to it, no matter how few people watch. You know what I mean? When we started this channel, we get 3 or 4 viewers constantly and never really more than that. And then slowly things picked up, and they've come way back down. We average 100 or 200 viewers. Which is cool and all, but it would be better if we got back over 1,000 again. I highly doubt it happens. People are quitters, but maybe. You know what I mean? So, what's up, Arvis? Good to see you, brother. Who else? Did I miss anybody? No, I didn't. That's it. Hardly any comments either. You see, that's self-deprecation. It's not me rubbing my face. Not me rubbing dirt in my own face or anything like that. It is just what it is, man. I can't control people's. I can't control people's will to want to do it, is what it is. So I got Bitcoin week. We'll talk to the people that are here. You know what I mean? I got Bitcoin's weekly chart pulled up here, and I'm going to talk about the thumbnail first, and then we'll get off into everything else because crypto's a shit show right now. So this weekly chart shows you a few things. So we'll start with is the 821 downward cross that you have up here. Let me zoom into it so you can see it. Right there is your 821 EMA cross. As you see it right here, that was a downward cross telling you that likely we were in trouble here. And it's been that way since November. It actually happened a little after November, which is the problem. But before that, we had a bit of a double top, which sucks because it wasn't actually a double top. It was a higher high. But then this higher low come in right here. Right, there's your high and there's your higher low. And it's just been downhill since. Haven't been able to catch a wave back up. In fact, things just keep getting farther and farther down. That's the first part. Second part, you've broken trend no matter which way we look at it, no matter how you draw this trend line or fib line, we are under the trend into a downtrend. And usually, what's up, 808? Good to see you, brother. What's up, Charles Can't Lie again. What we usually see in Bitcoin's bear market is it's a minimum of a year. Not always, but usually. That doesn't mean that it's always down for a year, but it's likely we don't get any heavy upward movement or find a bottom and a trend break until a year is up. It's usually at least that long. Could be longer. If I put up the Bitcoin halving cycle profit indicator, it kind of shows you that it's usually after the final take profit zone, about 365 to 380 days. And if you go back in history, it's been that way sort of since the jump. Yeah, about the same thing, right? So about a year. And you get some sort of bottoming formation that tends to come in after your last bit of take profit comes. And we've already had the last bit of take profit for us. It was almost perfect timing. And people often ask me, how does that work? Well, Bitcoin is mathematical. It doesn't matter how many people buy it or how many people sell it. It always goes to its math no matter what. It may go up a little bit more or down a little bit more, but the math always works out. It's a limited finite supply. It's controlled based on mathematic algorithms. People say, oh, well, wait until the computers get smart enough to beat it. Well, they ain't yet. So, and AI can't either. So it is what it is. A couple other things to note here. Look at the weekly RSI. Again, still oversold only for the third time on weekly chart history, 2018, 2022, and now 2026, 4 years each time separating it. It's very rare for Bitcoin to be oversold on the weekly and for it to last a long time. Now, that doesn't mean it's go time, but that does mean in general, when something is overbought, you look to buy. Linear mode. So again, even if I was in linear mode, this would still be a broken trend. The fibs are a bit different. And what I'm going to go through first is the linear mode fibs. You never back tested the 236. You just blew through it and got stuck under the 21 EMA here. You blew right through the 382 after hitting it, bouncing, and failing. And then you went right through the 50 fib, now back testing it as well, as you see right there. It's back testing it now. So, in my opinion, while we have found a wick on the bottom of this weekly candle here, we have not necessarily found a bottom. This thing can very much wick chase, meaning it can come all the way back down here to where this wick hit, which was right at 60,000, 59,000 and some change. Right at 60,000 with the wick. It very well could idle down here, hit that wick, and then try to bounce back up. It could very well reverse from here and go back up, and that's what I'll explain now. The wick chase, I think, is highly likely. We didn't get to this 618 fib at 57,009. That would also be about 56.7 on the 382 as far as the linear mode fibs go. They are different because the chart scale changes when you go from log to linear. If I drop down to daily here, I'll kind of explain where I'm coming from. You still haven't back tested the 382 fib that you broke and failed on the 236 fib that you broke and failed on the daily chart. That's the 236 fib there. I just zoomed way in for you. And as you see, our daily chart, nowhere near this 236 just yet. We're still underneath it. So something like this very well could happen, just like happened up here, right? Get the same sort of movement before it fails. Likewise, if I pull a fib from the top of this lower high to the bottom of this lower low, I'll drag this out a little bit where we can see it. We have a couple of set points here that are interesting. Number one, 77,000 on the 236 weekly chart happens to line up with this daily shorter term 50 fib. That's the continuation fib. If we come up, hit this continuation fib, it's a highly likely scenario that she comes back down, starts out, makes a lower high, a lower low, another lower high, and works its way back down to this 382 fib, which I think we very well may hit in the summer yet. I don't think we're there yet. It's only February and we've already fallen this much. I think we're due some consolidation, sideways down, sideways up, sideways down, that type of thing, before we get another big sell-off. I don't think it's over. I don't think it's over at all. I think we'll likely get our last bit of down toward the end of the year, more toward the October, November area is where I think our bottom likely comes in at, around through there. And I say the bottom, I mean the bottom of the bear market, not necessarily the bottom of the price action. So we'll see. Anyway, the first level, because those two fibs intersect, is very interesting to me. Likewise, if I add in moving averages, for now, we have the 21 EMA at the 50 fib, but that's going to come down very, very aggressively. It ain't done yet. I add in my 50 and 100 moving averages, and you can see how aggressively they are leaning over here, pointing downward. What does that mean? Well, they're very aggressively falling, and as they're very aggressively falling, they're going to take some time to turn back around in the other direction. It's likely that they sweep like this, which also happens to end up right around that 50 fib and right around that weekly 236. So it's like more evidence of that area. Now, why did I say the second key level was about 100,000 that you saw in the pictures? Well, that's that last lower high. And that last lower high happens to contain a whole bunch of shorts. And if you were a guy looking to try to fight the market and get it back up, well, this is one of the levels you would attack for liquidity. This is where a lot of the shorts entered and started taking a big risk. All right. Now, obviously, they came down here and nuked all the longs out. There was hardly any left at all. I think it was 100 billion worth of shorts and like 12 million worth of longs, something ridiculous. Really, really, really odd ratio. But that has since slowed down some. Some shorts took their profits, hence the bounce. But still, you have not got a trend break yet. This thing's still trending down and hasn't shown the volume or the mass to get through the moving averages, get through the resistance, and get back up to where it came from. If we get through this 236, that's the target that I'm aiming for, and I'm aiming for it to range out a bit. Okay, if it gets to this 50 fib and can manage to get up here, I look for a liquidation to nuke this level out, get rid of all those heavy shorts, and then we'll likely work back down a little something like that. The question is how far and how long? Well, I don't know that answer. That's just a bit of a thesis for now. And the reason I come up with those two levels, again, 50 fib daily continuation up before more down, and also the 236 and also the moving averages, or up to the 200, up to the top of this higher low where the liquidity sits, where all the shorts entered in and really, really started pressing the market down. Those are my theories on it. That's why I say what I say. That's why I think what I think, all right? It seems grim right now, and it kind of is. You got almost every altcoin oversold, even on the weekly charts, which I can look through real fast for you here. By the way, I've got it marked on my chart. Rebuy this vertical line here after the bull run is over, late 2026, right? It never got to my end of the year bull market targets. We got to 125. If you remember, my targets were 130 and 175. So we got close to the second target, but we never got to the big one up there at 175. The law of diminishing gains kicked in much more rapidly than I thought it would. Par for the course. And for that matter, there's no necessary guarantee that we're going to have higher gains next time. There's just not. More so, there's more of a guarantee that the liquidity for Bitcoin continues to slowly dry up. There was a lot of arguments before that if the liquidity dries up, well, that means the price is going to go fly. Wrong. Boy, did we prove that one wrong. The ETFs will make the prices skyrocket. Look at the ETF volume. Look at Vanguard. Yeah. More buyers means more up. What does it really mean? More late buyers means more exit liquidity. And boy, were a lot of people exit liquidity this time. Sucks. I know. I'm sorry. Wish it didn't happen to everybody. I wish everybody could hit home runs every time. 2020 to 2022 was a boondoggle of a home run for me. Made more money than I'd ever think I would make. I was able to take care of things that I never thought I would be able to take care of. I was able to get things done family-wise, life-wise, went places where I never thought I'd be able to go. You can't expect that to happen again. I kind of thought I'd get some more of that. Didn't get hardly any of that. So I've learned beautiful thing about it is if you fail, you learn. I've learned to highly be more pessimistic than I was last time. I was pessimistic last time. Boy, I should have been way more pessimistic this time. So going forward to the next bear market, finishing off and bull run starting, I'm going to be way more pessimistic. And that's just all there is to it. I'll take way more profits than I did. And I took a lot of profits this time, but I'll be even more profit taking heavy. All right. So I told you Bitcoin was oversold on the weekly, right? So, like I said, only the third time that Bitcoin's been oversold like this on the weekly, 2018, 2022, 2026. It's following a pattern, folks. Pay attention. So let's look through some other ones real fast, right? Here's XRP. It's only ever been oversold on the weekly one time, and that was in the summer of 2022. Look where we are now. We are almost oversold, right at the threshold of being oversold for the first time since 2022, which was post bear market starting and post no new all-time high for XRP and post lawsuits and post everything else. She went oversold. Now, you've had nothing but good news for XRP for a steady diet of about a year and a half, and price has not done what people said it would do. Yes, we had a big spike in buying pressure, and it did do really, really well. But what have you gotten past that? Well, so far, one move up, and that's all she wrote. It's all it's done so far. Now that it's started a new bear market, it's likely to continue this mess. Down and sideways, down and sideways, down and sideways. I think this plays out to be down and sideways until summer here. We should get a push in summer. It'll make everyone feel good. And then we're going to see a big slowdown again until this thing drags its feet all the way out. Until the next summer where we have another push. But again, likely to stay under the trend line. I don't think we see another big move here until much, much later. In fact, I think it might be 2028 before you see XRP really pop off again and make a big hefty move like it did before. Unfortunately, XRP is very, very rhythmic. It follows Bitcoin very, very closely, but not exactly the same. It being oversold on the weekly, almost oversold on the weekly is interesting. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have a ton of gains. I just want you to make a note that this will only be the second time it's ever oversold on the weekly. Isn't it worth noting, right? I'm not going to go throw a bunch of money at it, but I think people should know. Now we flip over to Ethereum on the weekly. And here's your RSI again. Look, oversold in 18, oversold in 22, almost oversold now, but not quite there yet. Looking at the fibs on it, gosh, you're just still up here with the 236. You haven't failed as far as Bitcoin has, which is really interesting. And that showing Bitcoin dominance falling here, but only because some alts didn't fall as far as Bitcoin is super, super interesting. I didn't expect that to happen, but it definitely is. I don't know how long that can keep up for what it's worth. But Ethereum is underneath the trend now that I drew here. So hung up at the 236, hold on for dear life, right? But it's just going to hold on to make a lower high and roll over more. I think that may be the scenario. Chainlink is highly, highly talked about all the time. Oh man, Chainlink is so great. They got the whole Chainlink Marines thing. It's never been oversold on the weekly, but it's just about to be to now. So this would be the lowest the RSI for the weekly has ever been on Chainlink, ever, which is super, super stunning, right? She's all the way down to the 786 already. Hit the wick off the 786, and then you shot a little bit back up. Not a ton back up, but a little bit back up. Again, wick chase, is that what we're going to get, where we just pull down with the wick and make an equal move before we pop back up? I kind of expect that. I can't guarantee it, but it looks like that's the way the market's leaning. How about Binance Coin? So same difference for Binance. Your uptrend has failed. You failed the 236. You cleaned through the 382 like it wasn't even there. Really digging into support right through here between the 382 fib and the 50 fib. Do you see that? All that right there acts as support. Now, can it hold on to it? Well, that's the more important question. I'm not sure. Pushed really, really aggressively down here. We've seen this before from Binance Coin where it did this, very, very aggressive rollovers until the summer where it found its footing. Does that mean we'll find our footing down here around 530? I guess that's possible. Flipping it to linear mode changes a little, but again, it really just kind of hones into that 550 to 530 range where I think it's got highly likely it gets stuck there for a bit at least. Working on oversold for the almost third time. You almost hit oversold in 18. You almost hit oversold in 2022, and you're almost oversold now. Binance continues to follow along with its pattern. So that was Ethereum, Binance Coin, XRP. We'll do one more Litecoin, and then we'll move over to our traditional equities and stocks. All right, so here's Litecoin. Look at the RSI on Litecoin. Oversold for the, guess what? It's done this a few times. 13, 15, 18, 2022, and 2026. It's been oversold many times. So looking at the blue, now we're likely stuck in the bear for a bit on Litecoin. Even though it's oversold, there's likely more down than up here. It's probably going to consolidate with the rest. I would imagine it kind of just pulls the coattails of Bitcoin. Not a lot of good to say about it. Not a lot of good to say about a lot of those. Sucks, right? I know, I can get it. S&P 500. So cool enough, S&P 500 for a few weeks now has consolidated around the top here, forming a bit of resistance. You can clearly see how it's sort of making resistance up here. Doesn't really want to get moving, kind of keeps rejecting back and forth. Looking down on the daily, you get an even better view of it. Note that you are still over the 8. Ooh, sorry, I'm tired, folks. It's still over the 8 EMA, over the 21 EMA, over the 50 moving average, bounced to 100. It did show some aggression there to get back in its consolidation range. But so far, that's about it. Ichimoku cloud, you're still over the Ichimoku cloud. That's good. You're losing a check mark here with the blue under the red. That's the conversion line falling underneath the baseline. You'd like to see the baseline underneath it, but it's not. It's over it. That loses a check mark, which kind of tells you, hold up. NASDAQ's a little worse for wear. It's in the cloud, red cloud, lag line under the candles, and your baseline is over the conversion line. That's 4 out of 4 no for the NASDAQ on the Ichimoku cloud. That sucks, doesn't it? Welp, on to the next. Dow Jones Industrial. Boy, what was a good-looking candle earlier today really turned gnarly up here. That is a nasty upside-down doji on the top, a.k.a. a gravestone doji. What does a gravestone doji mean? Well, guess how it sounds. Yeah. So it's likely we see a rollback over here to at least support back around the 49.5 range-ish is possible. It looks like it's going to slow down from there. That's a really ugly candle. Now, I could just keep going, but boy, it's highly unlikely. Russell 2000, you did chug along here, but again, it's still a little bit of a lower high as compared to some. By the way, do you see that pattern right there on the Russell? Yeah, a gravestone doji at the top. Need I remind you? A gravestone doji at the top for the Dow Jones. Was looking good, slowed up abruptly. QQQ Investco. This is a very, very popular one. It's likely in your 401k if you have a 401k. That's a very, very popular fund. It makes a few dollars a year. Plus, it usually grows in scale. I think they average about 8 to 12% after annuities. So you failed the 821 and you failed the 50 and the 100. So you're still getting rejected there. Not quite good enough. Be careful. SMH VanEck Semiconductor Fund. A little bit better. It broke the trend here. 821 EMA. Only thing you don't got going for you is this is a lower high. But you're on the good side of the trend and you're on the good side of the 821 EMA. Better than most. Apple had a good rip, slowed up, and really hasn't done much since a couple streams ago. Sitting on the 8 EMA with a bundle of moving averages underneath. On the good side of the trend line, this is better than most. I mean, honestly, a lot look worse than this. Apple continues to fight back. I'm here for it. I'm going to continue to stick with it. Tesla, this is getting dicey. These are the kind of moments you got to be real careful with on Tesla. I'm going to flip it to linear mode here and drop these moving averages. Look at that. That's dead on the trend line. This thing can tap and fail and absolutely wreak havoc if it really, really wants to dig in. Plus, you throw on the moving averages and you see that you have the 50 and the 100 up there, nowhere near where we're at right now underneath this trend. And you're in the wait a minute zone still, trapped by the 21 EMA and the trend line at the same time. Not great. Throw in the fact that we're still -4 on the Ichimoku cloud. That's a red cloud on the end. It needs to be green. That's price underneath the cloud. It needs to be over. That's the baseline over the conversion line, the red over the blue. It needs to be the other way around. And your lag line is underneath the candles. That's 4 out of 4 no for Tesla. If you're a long-term guy and you're looking for a discount, well, you've gotten one. Are you going to continue to take it? That's up to you. I'm waiting and seeing. I haven't added any more. I already have a bunch of Tesla. So I'm trying to see where she shakes out here. Break the trend and prove it. I'd like to see that. That would make some breaking the trend here might change some minds. What else? Amazon. Boy, it just keeps getting uglier for Amazon. After these huge gaps formed in the chart, and she broke out of a wedge here. Goodness gracious, that's gnarly, isn't it? You're underneath every moving average. Forget about it. Even if I flip to the weekly, guess what? You're underneath the 8, 21, and the 50 moving average at the same time, only over the 100 moving average. You're hanging up on it right now. If this thing fails the 100, bro, there's nothing but air and opportunity for it to fall even farther. You've got support down here at like 187 to 200. It 100% could fall down there if it gets stuck underneath that 100 moving average. Look how far the weekly 200 moving average is down there, all the way at 165. Boy, that would be gnarly for Apple to fall that far. Microsoft, again, another one that's way down. You have a tits cross happening here. That's your 200 moving average and the 100 moving average crossing downward through it. All right, with that, you should have price action come back up and check that cross. And that's exactly what we've got so far with a failed or failing AEMA. Not quite enough juice to get over the hump just yet. She's kind of stuck in the mud as such. Still a big gap. You had a good earnings report from this, so it has nothing to do with news. And she's still way down as compared to all-time high. You're still 30+%, call it 35%. From here to all-time high on Microsoft, that's a very, very good return if you're a guy who can hang through the valleys and the dips, right? That's a great return if that happened in 1 year. You got a yearly return. If the thing went back to all-time high and you got 30+% returns, you'd be the man on stock markets. And if you went to the New York Stock Exchange, you'd be big dick energy. So I'm curious myself. I thought about buying some, but it's a little too sketchy for me. I like to buy with proof. Couple more here. NVIDIA. So back and forth over these moving averages you go. Can't make its mind up. Consolidation continues. Same consolidation has been happening since August. The discounts that keep coming in here keep giving you an opportunity to buy in and get your price down a little bit if you'd like. It's given opportunities. When are we going to see a breakout? That's a great question. Hasn't happened yet. It keeps getting hung up on this resistance level. Once it breaks that resistance level, we'll see. But for now, more consolidation. Palantir Technologies, big deal in the government world. Great earnings report. Don't blame that. Price is still getting smushed. You're underneath every moving average, including the 200. And if I pull fibs on her here, you'll see we're still flirting around with the take profit fibs. You hit the 1272, 1414 level, and you bounced, but you only bounced back toward that one fib for a bearish retest. Are we going to get one of these jokers? We very well may. So I want everybody to be on your toes a little bit and understand this market may not be done puking, and it might not just be crypto that does that. It might be other markets. While there are some assets that are up, there are many that are down. Banks are doing pretty well right now. Car companies, domestic car companies, aside from Stellantis, are doing pretty good. Japanese manufacturers are doing pretty good. I want you to keep your eye on Netflix. Watch it closely. It's way down in price. It's oversold on the weekly, much like some of these cryptos are oversold on the weekly. Maybe worth taking a poke on it if you've got the balls and you don't mind losing money in the short term to make a little money in the long term. I'm thinking about it myself. There's also the ability to buy tokenized stock on some crypto exchanges if you'd like on Netflix. It's not on every exchange. It's going to take a while before that happens, in my opinion, but we'll see where this stuff shakes out. I'm going to be back on Thursday. We'll do this all over again. We do this every Tuesday and Thursday, 10 p.m. Thank you for coming and watching. I appreciate it. If you would like to, we do this nonstop, no matter whether I'm on the road, whether I'm at work, whether I'm here, whether I'm there, doesn't matter. We do it nonstop. WAP.com/team786. It's right there. First month free. After that, the cost of less than one Starbucks coffee per month. It keeps the crazies out, keeps the adult conversations going. Thank you, guys. I'll see y'all on the next stream. Sky's the limit. I'm out. Appreciate y'all. Peace.